What's up, everybody? Welcome to Impact. It's Wednesday night, so we're so glad that you guys decided to tune in and hang out with us here tonight. Wherever you are, wherever you're watching from, if it's your first time ever checking out Impact, like Evie, who's kind of taking over the screen right now, hey, we're so glad you're here. DM us, let us know. Send us a message. We'll do whatever we can to get you connected with a small group because we have to do life with our small groups. It's so important that after the message tonight, you connect with your small groups. We stay together. We stay Impact strong through this crazy season. We're not sure when we'll be able to see y'all again, but we hope it'll be sooner rather than later. We're really excited to see y'all and hang out with y'all again. But until then, let's stay together, stay strong. Y'all, we hope you guys had a great July 4th. We hope you guys are excited for week 2 of our series known as Love, Hate. Phil's got a great message for y'all. Can't wait for you guys to check that out. But before then, remember, y'all, the challenge, it is going down. July 29th, July 30th, and July 31st. You can sign up right now for free by texting the word IMPACT-KV, IMPACT-JT, or IMPACT-OR, wherever you are, to 41411. You'll sign up. You'll get a sweet shirt. These shirts are going to be so fire, guys. You're going to love them. You're going to want to be sure you have them. So be sure that you sign up right now. We love you guys. Hope y'all enjoy Phil's message. Have a great time connecting your groups. Cannot wait to see you guys again soon. Peace.
What's up, Impact? This is Phil from Oak Ridge, and I'm here at Ocean Isle Beach. My family's here celebrating the 4th of July. I hope you guys had a wonderful 4th as well. I'm here on the balcony. You're probably going to hear some background noise, but hey, let's just let it be. I'm at the beach, man. We just let things flow here, okay? Hey, but I want to jump right into our conversation that Chris started 2 weeks ago on Love or Hate. Listen, right now, there's a lot of things happening in our country, a lot of things happening in our world, and we have 2 ways that we can respond, in love or in hate. And a lot of times we think we're responding in love, but really it's kind of more towards the hate side. And sometimes it's really difficult for us to know exactly what to do, what it looks like to respond in love, but we are called. We are called to respond in love. No matter how passionate we feel about one side or the other, about this topic or that topic, it doesn't matter. What matters is that we respond in love. And Jesus taught us this in such amazing ways when he was here on the earth. And so I want to start out with this right here. It was about 8 years ago. It was my first week at a new school teaching. And on the way to school that morning, I had eaten some Dove chocolate. And at some point while I was driving, I knew I had dropped a piece of Dove chocolate. And I looked around, I felt around, I couldn't find it, but I knew it was there. I mean, you guys have been here, right? You drop something in your car and you're like, oh my gosh, it's gonna melt. This is nasty. Where is it? You can't find it. That was me. I couldn't find it. So I get to the school and I tried to get there really early my first morning because I wanted to make a good impression. So I got there so early, I beat the janitors. And so it was me and about 5 other cars. And we were sitting in the parking lot all spaced out. We were just waiting for the building to be unlocked. And finally, we saw one of the janitors walk up and they unlocked the building. And so we started getting out of our cars. And of course, I wanted to be the first one in the door just to say, listen, like, I'm here to work hard, to do my best. I'm going to be the best teacher ever. I'm going to be the first one in this building. And so I started walking up and I get to the door, and as I'm walking up to the sidewalk, you know, all the teachers that had to come out, we all kind of started funneling into the sidewalk that led to the door. And I started hearing this noise behind me. It's like a little bit of a chuckle. I could hear people like whispering and talking, and I'm like, what is going on back here? Like, I didn't know any of these teachers, so I turn around just trying to jump in on the joke, like, hey guys, what's going on? And as soon as I turn around, they all get quiet. And it's at this point, you know, that we all realize that the joke's not about something else. The joke's on us, right? Like we've done something. And one of the teachers kind of speaks up and she was like, I think you might be Mr. Isley, our new 4th grade teacher. Did you happen to have chocolate on your way to work this morning? And, you know, immediately I knew exactly what she was going to say next. She's like, you may want to change your pants or try to clean them off because it looks like you pooped yourself. And so, of course, in that moment, I am so embarrassed. Why? Because that is a difficult thing for me to face. It was a difficult thing for her to say, but I'm so glad she did because it saved me from the embarrassment later on that day. And trust me, if my kids would have seen that, it would have been an even bigger embarrassment. So how do you respond in difficult situations? How do you respond? I mean, we know we're supposed to be all about love, but sometimes that can be difficult, especially when you're talking about a difficult situation. Here's what I know. There are two people when you talk about this. One person, you're the type of person who you are just so scared of what might happen if you say something to somebody, even if it's in love, that you just don't say anything at all. We've all been there, right? We know, we've seen our friends getting ready to do something that we know wasn't smart, or a brother or a sister or somebody close to us. Like, we know they're getting ready to do something or say something or react the way they shouldn't react. Or maybe they've been doing something that's hurtful to themselves. Maybe it's drugs, or maybe they're dating someone they shouldn't be dating. And it's so hard for us to speak up in those situations. And a lot of times I think it's because we're scared maybe we're going to ruin that friendship, or maybe they won't listen, or maybe we've made the same mistake ourselves, and so we think, who are we to speak up? And so we just stay silent in those situations when we know we should be speaking up. And then you have people on the other end of the spectrum, right? Who they just speak their minds no matter what. They have no filter whatsoever. If they see anybody doing anything that they think is wrong, they are quick to speak up. And what sometimes that does is it makes other people think that you're arrogant, that you think that you're better than everybody else. And so because of that, they don't listen, and actually ends up making the situation worse. So right now, I want you to think about you and where you fall on the spectrum. Are you the person that just stays quiet because you're scared of what the reaction might be or the fallout? Or are you the person that just goes in full force like a bull in a china shop and just says everything on your mind, and you're not afraid to speak up at all, but you know that doing that has made situations worse in the past? Which one are you? Today I want to have a conversation about this thought right here. What if there was a way? What if there was a way for us to speak up in difficult situations in love? Not just to speak up in love, but actually we could do it in a way that would make the situation better for the person that we're talking to. Today we're going to talk about a guy named Paul. He wrote a lot of the New Testament, and in one of the letters he wrote, it's called Galatians, right? It's in the New Testament. He was writing to a church in Galatia, which is why he named it Galatians. But he obviously loved the people and knew the people here really, really well. And they were having the same issues that a lot of us face. They were having some difficult conversations, and a lot of them weren't sure how to speak up and do it in love, because they wanted to do it in love. They wanted to be helpful, but a lot of times when they were doing it, they would end up making things worse, or they wouldn't say anything, and so the person would never change, which ends up making it worse. And so the only way to make it better is to speak up, and to speak up in love. And evidently they were struggling with this, because Paul writes to them, and he writes to them in Galatians 6 chapter 2, and he says this right here. He says, "Dear brothers and sisters, if another believer is overcome by some sin, then you who are godly should gently and humbly help that person back into the right path." Gently and humbly. I'm going to come back to that in a minute. "And be careful not to fall into the same temptation yourself." In other words, he's saying that you and I should actually go further than just calling out what they're doing. We should actually be really concerned about helping them to get back on the right path. Now, what is that right path? That right path has nothing to do with what we think is right, but it has everything to do with what we know God says is right. So first of all, this can't be based on your opinion. If you start speaking out of your opinion, it's always going to end badly. But if you speak from the truth of God's word, if you look it up, even if you have to look it up, you can find specific scriptures and you can know it in your head and say, listen, I know God says this about this. So because of that, I'm going to approach it from that truth, not from my opinion. If you approach it that way, you're automatically going to have a lot better chance of being successful. And then Paul says, once you kind of figure out what the truth is, once you kind of figure out what you need to say to them, there is a way you need to say it in order for it to come across as loving. He says to be gentle and humble. Gentle and humble. He doesn't say, come running at them, pointing your finger, screaming, oh, you shouldn't be doing this, or oh, you shouldn't be doing that. That never works that well. Even with my kids, it doesn't work for me to scream at them. It usually makes the situation worse. What makes it better is when I can figure out what I want to accomplish in the conversation and then approach them gently and humbly. And that's what Paul is saying to the people here in Galatia. And it's what Paul is saying to us. Like, as Christ followers, our goal shouldn't really just be to speak in love. Our goal should be to speak in such a way that we actually inspire them to get back onto the right path. Like, maybe you know someone who's been dating somebody that they shouldn't be dating. And you guys know these conversations are always difficult. Even if they ask you, hey, what do you think about such and such? Like, it's so scary to actually say what you really think. So we always find ourselves saying stuff like, oh, she's great. Oh, she's fine. Oh, I'm sure she'll get better, right? At some point, or I'm sure he'll get better. He's great right now. I'm sure when he gets a little more mature, this relationship's going to be fantastic. We find ourselves saying this, and what we're doing is we're making excuses because we know what we should be saying. We just don't know how to say it. We don't want to come across judgmental. We don't want to look like a hater. We don't want to look arrogant, so sometimes we just don't say anything. And then you've got parents and some other people who sometimes just come out too forceful, and they're like, yo, you gotta stop dating. She's the worst thing that you've ever dated. He's the worst thing. Like, he's gonna ruin your life. She's gonna ruin your life. You gotta just stop it right now. And we know how that ends, right? Usually that pushes us to want to date that person even more. So how do we speak? How do we speak truth to our friends, to our families, to people around us who we know have gotten themselves into some bad situations? How do we speak and be known for love when we're trying to have difficult conversations? Well, Paul gives us a few clues here. He says, man, when you approach them, you want to do it in gentleness and in humbleness. Humbleness, that is so important. Humility is the most important thing that you can do in your life. Humility is putting the other person above yourself. Thinking of them as higher than yourself. It's the same thing Jesus did for us when he came down and died. He put all of us over himself. And if you put yourself in their shoes and you start thinking about their feelings more than your feelings and what they're dealing with more than what you're dealing with and the struggles that has gotten them where they are more than your opinion of what they're doing, when you can start viewing situations, right, from the perspective of the other person and putting them first, then you can truly walk into it with humility. And I'm telling you, people are way more receptive when you walk into a hard conversation with humility and gentleness. Guys, gentleness is so important. That means you're not coming at them and you're not starting, you're not, like, your whole goal in this conversation is not to start a debate or a fight. Your whole goal is to understand what they're feeling. Try to figure out what's gotten them to where they are. And after you start understanding a little bit about the situation, then you can start speaking into that situation and say, hey, like, listen, I know my situation wasn't exactly like yours, but I can tell you there was a time back in the day when I dated this person. And man, now looking back on that, I can tell you this is why I know that relationship was wrong, and I wished I would have ended it even sooner. And I'm seeing some of those similar things in y'all's relationship right now, and I just wanted to bring that to your attention. Or you can also go up to someone, and I'm just using this as an example, this whole relationship thing, but you can go up to a friend and say something like, hey, listen, I've noticed that you've not been yourself lately. And I'm just wondering, if there's something going on, and sometimes getting them to say it can be the best thing. But if we can start difficult conversations with gentleness and humility, then we can still be known for love and speak truth into the lives of people around us. Just remember this. If we want to be known for love and what we do and what we say, then we have to let love be our filter. Love has to be our filter. Just like on Instagram or Snapchat or anything else, like when you start swiping over and you get those filters don't change. Once you get a filter, no matter which way you turn, no matter where you're at, no matter what's happening in your surroundings, those filters are still those filters. You're still seeing things through that filter. And guys, the same thing's true with love. No matter what the conversation or the topic or what your opinion or how strong your opinion might be about something, no matter who you're talking to, what they believe, if love is your filter, no matter what the conversation is, no matter what the subject matter is, no matter what your opinion is, no matter how strongly you feel about it is, you can still do it in gentleness and humbleness and in love, because love is your filter. So here are some different areas that I want to challenge you guys this week to let love be your filter. I want you to let love be your filter in your involvement. The things that you're involved in, this can be as small as a social media post to as big as substances or things that are happening around you with your friends, or things that your friends are trying to get you to go to or be a part of that you know you shouldn't be a part of. Let love be your filter in what you're involved in and what you're doing and what you're known for and your reputation. Let love be your filter in your involvement. Number 2, let love be your filter in your words. This is so tough. It's so easy for us to be reactive people, especially if someone's trying to come and talk to us and thinks a little different or looks a little different or believes a little different. It's so easy for us to forget the love filter and just start speaking, start throwing up on the other person right before we even think about what we're doing. But in your words, to your family, to your friends, to all the people around you, let love be your filter. And what this looks like is for us to slow down and think before we say stuff. Right? Think about what these words are going to cause, because your words have so much power. So let love be your filter in your involvement. Let love be your filter in your words. And let love be your filter in your actions and your reactions, and what you do and how you react to people. And this can be as small as how you react to the person at Burger King, to as big as how you react to your parents, right? Our reactions also carry a lot of power. And if we want to be known for people who are loving, then we have to let love be our filter in these different situations in our lives. So that's my challenge for you guys. Paul kind of laid it out there for the people in Galatia, and he's saying to us the same exact thing. If we can speak in humbleness and we can speak in gentleness, then we can be known for people who are loving, even in difficult conversations and difficult situations. So next time you're confronted with one of these and you know you need to speak up, make sure you're not speaking out of your opinion. Make sure you're speaking out of God's truth. And then make sure when you actually have the conversation, it's in humility and it's with gentleness. And even if they're mad in the moment, I promise at some point they're going to come back and thank you for having that conversation with them. Just like I had to thank those teachers for telling me that I had chocolate all over my butt. Because if they wouldn't have said something, it could have been a lot worse. The same goes for you. Maybe if you don't say something, things could be a lot worse. So don't be afraid to speak up in love. Hey, you guys are awesome. I love each and every one of y'all. Hope you have a great week. We'll talk to you soon.
Hey guys, what's up? It's Jake here from Jamestown, and I love that message from Phil, and I love what he had to say about letting love be the filter that we run everything through. You know, our world seems like it's crazy right now. It seems like everything could just blow up at a moment's notice. Everything is really tense. And how do we operate in a world like that? I love the reminder and the push and the challenge from Phil to let love be the way we filter our lives. If we love people the way Jesus loves them, then we could play our role in making this tense world a better place. Hey guys, I'm encouraging you guys to sign up for Impact Virtual Summer, the challenge. It's going to be an amazing event that you guys do not want to miss out on. It's going to be held on our YouTube page live July 29th, 30th, and 31st. It's going to be awesome. We are going to be pushing challenges out to you guys for you guys to compete against one another here online, and you guys are going to tell us some challenges that you would like to see us do, whether it's crazy or funny or whatever you guys come up with. It's going to be really cool. You don't want to miss it. To sign up for that event, text Impact JT, Impact KV, or Impact OR to 41411, depending on what location you attend. We cannot wait to see you guys there. We love you. We can't wait to see you again. You guys be safe, be encouraged, and we'll see you soon.